We are rolling. Nash, this is a short notice video here. I thought it was important, and you thought it was important because you messaged it to me this morning. Was the Norway decision? So, just a brief rundown. Norway removed their funding that they give the Jehovah's Witnesses. How long ago was that? Do you know how long ago when they removed it?
I don't remember how long ago it was.
I
February
don't know.
17th. February 17th is when they appealed it.
Yeah. So what happened is the in Norway the Watchtower's funding was removed, and then the Watchtower appealed it, and we've talked about the appeal on the channel.
January 27th.
Right, and the appeal is shocking. Actually, the lies that are in there. They talk about shunning a lot. They say that shunning is, individual members of the Watchtower organization. It's a conscience matter whether they shun disfellowshipped individuals or disassociated individuals. It's that, among many other things, are bullshit in this appeal. And what happened yesterday was the appeal was rejected. So this is a fantastic thing. We started this channel as to promote activism, and to really have the channels focused on what our goals are, and one of the main goals in the activist community is to bring to light the practices of the Watchtower, and especially to bring these to light to governments so that we can help affect change. So today, I am applauding that group in Norway for what they have done. This is incredible. You should be so proud of yourself. I'm sure that at some point, it must have felt like three. I think there's three of them, right, Nash?
Well, there's two for sure.
Yeah. It must have felt like the world was against them and they were by themselves, but they kept going. And wow, what an incredible accomplishment this is.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I agree 100%. It's crazy when you look back at the appeal from Watchtower.
Yeah.
And it's this great big thick 156 points and an appendix. And all it is just like they're trying to draw attention away. They're making crazy excuses. They have a whole point talking about when you become one of Jehovah's Witnesses, how hard it is that your neighbors and your colleagues may resist or break contact with you because you're becoming a witness, and that you've even experienced violent resistance. Just things that have no bearing on the whole thing. And
it's not true. I mean, even in that case, it's not that your friends and your family that pull away you're pulling away from them, because the Watchtower says you're not supposed to associate with worldly people. So, the Watchtower is doing this. It's not everybody else. Anyway,
it's a diversion is what it is.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my favorite part, is that after that giant thing, they came back with 4 pages. I think there's 6 points.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. Like they didn't even, in all those letters that got mailed in by the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah, just so for people to know, the Jehovah's Witnesses in Norway all mailed in letters. So the organization got their members to mail in letters to the Norwegian government to refute the claims made by these ex-witnesses. And, this was a big campaign in support of the Jehovah's Witnesses and their practices. And it didn't matter. The truth prevailed. The real truth.
Yeah, it's nice to see that for once. That, like, the way they worded these is so great. Like they just shut them down, and they brought every point that we've been talking about forever and beating our heads against walls, just wondering why nobody can see what they really do. Mm-hmm. The Norwegian government, they saw it here. Like they see it for what it is. They can obfuscate all they want and say all these crazy things. Doesn't matter. Like it's like they said. It's like they made the comment that there was only one person under 18 in Norway that was experiencing
Yep.
this right now, and I mean, it had no bearing on the subject, and that's what they said. They said it doesn't matter because it's in your rules,
Yeah,
it's in
and
your
they said
doctrine.
it yeah, they said it doesn't matter even if it's just one. Even
Yeah,
if it's just one, doesn't matter. It's
no, because the
obviously part of
system,
your rules. Yeah.
that's right. It's set up to, so if there was 20, would that make it different? It doesn't matter. It's not the people that are going through it. It's the fact that that's their policy. This is
Yep.
Watchtower policy.
And we've hammered on this point in this channel before, and we're going to do it again here. If you're an existing member right now, you can see that the organization lies, and the Norwegian government politely called the Watchtower out on their bullshit. They
Yep.
said, no, no, no. What you said, it was not true. This is what happens. No matter how you want to spin it, you are lying. So for existing members, this is your organization. This is what they do. They lie to they lie to the world about what they really do. And then, they call themselves courageous and they call themselves the truth. They're not the truth. They lie. And,
Yeah.
governments are beginning to see it.
Yeah. Well, they give their own definition of truth and their own definition of what a lie is, right?
Yeah.
For Jehovah's Witnesses, for Watchtower, if you're not entitled to the truth, in their words, that's what they say. If you're not entitled to the truth, then it's not a lie because you weren't entitled to the truth. And
Yeah.
they use that all the time, and that's their theocratic warfare. And it was great to see these guys see right through it. They said that. I love this point. They said the allegations that only the members themselves decide who they want to have contact with do not agree with the religious community's own rules. The
Yes.
religious community, in reality, has a ban on contact with excluded members. And
Yes.
I've heard that excuse so many times, and we've talked about this before with witnesses that'll say, "Well, I never experienced that. I know somebody who's disfellowshipped and they didn't get shunned." The reality is, and we've said this a million times, that is in their doctrine. That is Watchtower policy. It's in the Shepherd
Yes.
book. It's in their videos. It's in their propaganda. If you just take all your anecdotal stories out of the question, out of this equation, and then just look at what Watchtower says, and that's what they saw. It's what they say. You don't have contact. You break contact. If
And
your kid is calling you, you don't answer.
yeah. It's so validating, isn't it? That
Yeah.
somebody like here we are, we're always hammering this, we're always
Hmm.
talking about it, and it's among us ex-witnesses, and it's just so validating that okay, they're seeing this. I know that the Norway's not the first place. There's, the Belgium case, that was a while ago, and there's been other situations as well, but we haven't had our channel going, and I just it's so wonderful to see this governmental organization, the government of Norway, to acknowledge this.
Yeah.
I'm just so thrilled, and yeah, it just really made me happy today.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Me too. Because
you
it's
know
just because I've been a part of some of these arguments from these apologists on Twitter.
oh yeah.
Not really a part of it, but I've been in the my name's been added in some of these, and to see people, some of these people making excuses for Watchtower and arguing on these little points about the points that Watchtower made in their appeal,
Yeah.
and trying to make them sound valid, and like like this is all made up and this is all a smear campaign and persecution, and
Hmm.
it's obviously Satan's system after them.
Yeah.
And that's nonsense. It's nonsense. That's why they didn't even address
Yeah.
75% of what they put in there, because it didn't need to be addressed. It never needed
It's
to be said in the
obvious.
first place. It's
It's obvious
obvious.
what the
And
truth is.
yeah, and so that's all they did. They just pointed out that no, we don't agree with what you said. It's wrong. It's written in your policy, and just own it.
Yep.
And the best part is, like we were talking off camera, they sum it up at the end and they say this isn't persecution. You can still
Yeah.
practice your religion.
Yeah.
You still get to do whatever you want. You're just not going to get the funding.
Yeah.
And
Well,
but
yeah.
that's a great first step for what we
Damn
really
right.
want to see is this human rights violation, which they mentioned in here. They
Yep.
said it is a violation of human rights. They didn't say any more about it. They just said it is, Article 9. But they said you still get, this is just about money.
Yeah.
And
This is
it's
just
crazy to
about
see
their
them fight for it.
funding. They can still practice their religion the way they want. You know what I mean? This is just about removing the funding. So, this is just like you're saying, this is a wonderful thing that's happened here, but it's just the first step. We have a lot more work to do. I mean, first of all, it's just Norway. There's a lot of other countries out there that the witnesses
Yeah.
operate in. And, we can take this further. So, this is the type of thing, even the answer to the appeal, this letter, we need to get this type of information in the hands of politicians. Even the act that they're talking about in Norway, where was it the Religious Act? I think it was,
Yeah.
you know,
Religious Communities Act.
Religious Communities Act. Can other countries, like can Canada, can we get an act like that brought in to the government, something similar, where
Yeah.
it's a step in the right direction, where religions are not allowed to get away with everything. They
Yeah.
just right now they have it's carte blanche. They can do whatever they want pretty much. Well, we disagree with that. And we think that the future will involve governments maybe taking a little bit more initiative in saying what religions can and can't do. Now it's a slippery, it's a difficult, topic, and it's a touchy subject, but this needs to happen.
Yeah. Religious freedom can't be a blanket for covering up abusive behavior. And that's
Damn
what it
right.
is
Yep.
right now. Like right
Yep.
now, they get away with anything and everything because nobody wants to touch it. Government
Yeah.
officials don't want to touch it. Instead, you see our government officials pandering to Christians on Easter
Yeah.
and Jews on Ramadan
Yeah.
and whatever. Like they're constantly just pushing for voters
Hmm.
instead of seeing the big picture. And that's that this has nothing to do with your job.
Yeah.
Your job is to make sure that this kind of stuff doesn't get abused.
Yeah.
It's not allowed to happen in corporations. When it does happen, it gets called out and people
Yeah.
do something about it and government steps in and they do something about it.
Well, and when you learn economics, these are things called externalities, where you need the government in place, right? If you didn't have the government in place, there needs to be laws in place where it holds businesses to account for environmental impact, for human rights abuses, and so governments have no problem getting involved with businesses. Well, this same thing needs to be applied to religions. And if an individual's human rights are being violated by a religion, then a government needs to step in to do something about it.
Yeah. And at the very least, at the very least, do what Norway's doing.
Yeah.
They've started with pulling funding. I mean, in Canada, I don't think we fund our religions.
No, I mean, they get the tax-free
They get
status.
and they'll still have that in Norway, right? As of
Yes.
right now, they're still going to
Yeah.
have tax-free status. But that's what I mean. That's where it needs to start. Tax-free status is a privilege, and it's a privilege
Yes.
very few organizations get.
Yeah.
And I think that there should be some kind of a standard set. There needs to be some kind of a bar for them to reach to say that we do show on paper this is how much actual work we do to help people.
Yeah. And to
And
earn
then
that right.
then you can have tax-free status.
Yeah.
Because Watchtower, they couldn't show a goddamn thing right now.
No.
Because all they do is knock on people's doors and
Yeah.
help each other out
Yeah.
and build buildings for their own organization that owns them all.
Yeah.
That's all
And
they do.
if you want to leave, well, you
Yeah.
better be ready to face the wrath of Watchtower.
Yeah, they'll just show you the door because they don't care.
Yeah.
And you're a done deal.
So I wanted to, we talked about keeping this a short video. How about we leave it there? And Wow, this is, I think Yan and, I don't know the other people involved, but,
Old Rolfie?
is that his name?
Ferruli, yeah.
Okay, well, there you go. So these guys, uh, our hats are off to you. Well done. And there's other people involved. I know Jason Wynn has been involved in the translating of some of these documents, and you
Yeah,
know,
he got all this translated for us today.
yeah. So there's been other people that have been kind of on the periphery that are helping as well. But we wanted to do this and say our hats are off to you. Thank
Yeah.
you for what you have done. It's amazing. Great work.
Yeah. I don't think Yan knows it's my birthday today, but this was a little present from Norway, and I appreciate it. I got
Awesome.
Chris Stapleton tickets too, but this is a little better even.
Great. Okay. See you later, everybody.
Bye.